Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I said hello the same way I said it last time.
You did.
And you want to know why? Because I've listened to it 20 times.
Have you really?
No. I did listen to, when I drove to work that day, I listened to maybe like 20 minutes of it.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I like the way we talk to each other. It was nice.
It's fun. It's like refreshing to see like, I don't know, because I don't feel like I banter with anybody like this well, like back and forth. So.
Which is why we hang out.
Which is why we're around each other all the time.
If we didn't banter well, then we probably wouldn't hang out. What?
Sayonara.
See you later. Smell you never.
So
that was our intro.
That was our intro. Intro done.
Yeah.
Intro done. Check.
Okay. Next part.
Check that box.
Okay.
So, do we want to go into what we were talking about through this episode? Let everybody know, like, what to expect if they want to, like, fast forward to anything, or should we just?
Because I think it should just flow kind of organically. We have our points in which we want to talk about, but I don't think it's going to be like this here, you know. It's like let's just talk, you know.
Okay.
People know how to skip.
Yep. They do know how to skip.
Unless you think it's really super important. I trust you.
I mean, I guess I think I do.
Okay.
I think we should. Like we're, you know, like on our Instagram, like we put out that we wanted to hear from people.
Mm-hmm.
And we set up a phone number that people can call anonymously and leave us messages, ask us questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a couple of those to play. We also put out an Instagram story asking for people to ask us questions or you know, give us some prompts of what they want us to talk about. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of those as well. I feel like one is a little on the heavier side, which we're saving for the end.
Yeah.
I think that one is really important because, I don't know, I feel like I relate to it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So we'll save that for the end.
So if you want to skip all the way to the end, my feelings won't be hurt at all.
Yeah.
If you just want to hear your question, good for you.
Yeah. I detect a little bit of sass.
What?
In your voice. I hear a little bit of sass in your voice.
That's fine. I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I would do the same thing. I'd be excited. I'd probably...
Well, nobody knows if their question's being...
Yeah, but you want to find out. Like, I would fast forward to the end, find out, and then I'd probably go back and start it from the beginning again and listen to the whole thing if I was interested. But I have extra interest in this podcast because I get to hear myself talk and I like that.
Yeah, and you have like a thing for podcasts, so...
I do really like podcasts.
Yeah, I feel like I was into them quite a bit. But then I don't know, I lost interest. Well, I guess once the pandemic hit and I was like inside all the time, like I didn't listen to podcasts like at all. Yeah, I really just listened to them on my drives to work.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be like I only listen to them when I'm driving and stuff, or like if I'm cleaning, I'll listen to them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't think we really addressed this like last time, but the whole point of like making this podcast was to kind of like wake up the community a little bit. You know, I've told a few people that same phrase, you know, and I don't know, I just feel like that's like the best way to put it, because right now it feels very quiet, very dead. It feels like the community doesn't really have a home base.
It feels like this dark, murky corner of...
It does.
Like, that side of the internet that nobody goes to and nobody wants to, like, be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's very true. And I remember when, you know, there were, I don't know, multiple websites existing at the same time, but it felt like a more, like, thriving community. Like, when I was, like back in high school, like in the mid 2000s, like there were plenty of places to go. And now it's every place you can go just feels like it's either filled with dated content that has been around forever, that someone is just re-uploading, or it's OnlyFans people who don't have the fetish but are trying to make a buck, you know? So it's just inauthentic content, you know? I guess one can argue whether it's authentic or inauthentic. It's like...
You can feel it though.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the lack of like true emotion.
You can scroll through Reddit and see like, oh, this picture is... It doesn't even show their belly button, but it's being posted on a belly button subreddit
or
like, for some reason.
Or the, ooh, look at my belly button. It's just like boobs.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think making this a place where we can share our personal experiences, you guys can call in and share your experiences, and, you know, being a listener and being able to connect with somebody that had a similar experience to you, whether it be good or bad, I feel like is very valuable to our community. And it's something that we don't have right now. Like we don't have a lot of discussions like this, or places to have these discussions, at least in, I wanted to say a more professional setting, but it's like in a setting where there's not like an ad for boobs on the right-hand side of the screen, or if that makes sense. Like,
make it more normalized. You know? There's enough people out there like in this community, like you're telling me about, like individual like content creators that have like hundreds and thousands of followers. Like there's people out there who are into this stuff.
Well, not in the belly button, not hundreds of thousands. Like they'll probably have like 1,500 or 2,500, you know.
Still, it's thousands.
It is thousands, but not hundreds.
Well, I mean hundreds and thousands. I said that as a buffer just in case I got the 1,000 part wrong.
My bad.
Anyway, but when you shared with me like the number of followers that like specific person had, I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah,
but I was
and
like,
they're
shocked.
one of the people that doesn't. I don't believe they have the fetish. They look like any other.
But I was like, there's like that many people.
Yeah.
Who have this, and it feels so much smaller than
feels
that.
Tiny. Feels minuscule compared to like other fetishes.
But that's pretty large. That's pretty large.
It's a nice group of people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I want to create a place where people can like share their experiences, and we can like blast them out there for people to listen to. Just let them know that like they're not alone, and that, you know, people have experienced probably the same thing that you have. And I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're not different, that you're not alone on this island by yourself. And I feel like that's how I felt for a while. So it's very like therapeutic to do this as well, you know, because it's still really strange to talk about this. I am barely getting used to it. Yeah. Even though to some of you, it might sound like I'm comfortable as hell, I'm still not 100% comfortable. So this is helping me too, which is nice. Like helping me not to give a shit. Yeah. I mean, fuck, if it means anything, I mean, like my roommate's within earshot, you know, if that, so like, but before I would be like, oh my God, whisper voice. But anyway, I just feel like it was important to like put that out there, that we want to foster the rebuilding of this community in some way, to make it feel safe, to make it feel, I don't know, a place where you're not alone. And build like friendships. You know? And it's not just sex. Yeah. I'm interested in that too. Like I want to make friends. Exactly. Yeah, because like I remember you saying that with like some of the people that would reach out to you and be really creepy right off the bat. Yeah, and it's like I'll talk about other things too. Exactly. You know, like I would like to be friends with some of these people. Yeah, I think that would be nice. Some of these dudes just don't get it. Yeah, you know, like I like other things too. And it's a weird kind of thing for some people to understand, because this is a sexual thing for a lot of people. Yeah, you know, so when they're messaging you, they probably got junk in one hand, phone in the other, you know, and it's, the fetish doesn't really cross over into like friendship realm often. Yeah. And I think it should do that more often. I think maybe it could, you know, I think we just don't know how to act right now. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Like when we have like someone else on the podcast to actually talk to about this. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. The thought of striking up a conversation with somebody in just like a normal way, you know, and not over sexualizing it like right off the bat. I don't know. It's a new thing. Yeah. You know, So
it'd be interesting to talk to them verbally.
I know. That's why I was so hyped on the idea of like people calling in.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear these people's voices. I want it to be more real. I don't want it to be words on a page where you're kind of second guessing whether or not either this person is telling the truth about their experience or even their age or gender. You know, like when you hear their voice, there's like an authenticity that's added to it and it feels more real and not just.
They feel more like people.
Yes.
I'm really excited to hear the voicemail. So I haven't heard the voicemails yet.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, because you wanted my like genuine, like first time reaction.
Yeah, I felt that was important for at least one of us to have a authentic, true reaction right off the bat.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear people's voices.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. So what did we do this week? Do you want to go into that?
Yeah. So this week, we made molds of my belly button, which is so weird. It was fun.
It was cool.
I personally don't have any experience making molds of any kind. I've messed around with clay, but not in a serious way. I wouldn't call myself a clay.
Like when you're back in school? Or are you talking about like at home personally?
No, just like at the, like kind of like what I did like at the store where I'm like, ooh, clay. And like I brought clay home and I made like clay animals and stuff like that. But it looked like a toddler made them. Like they weren't good. I wouldn't call myself like a clay artist. So yeah, zero experience making anything like this. I never knew that you could make something like a belly button out of like silicone, but it makes sense. You know, we have so many.
Oh, thanks, Alexa.
Oh, it's weird. Alexa just randomly told us what time it was. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was interesting.
It was really interesting and
trial and error, like trying to figure this damn thing out.
Yeah, because you didn't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, like we did our Instagram live that first night.
Yeah, that was the first time we ever did it.
We attempted 4.
The first one we did though, pretty good.
That was that was the best one that we got.
That was the best one. And then, oh my God, the next 3.
Oh, it was good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah.
That's what ended up happening.
Wet. Just wet. And then the most exciting part of that whole experience was we were trying to figure out how to make, because my belly button is just naturally very, very deep.
Yes.
But we couldn't figure out how to get oh my God, what is it called?
It's called alginate. It's the mixture that you put in water, or you mix it into water, and it's the thing that solidifies really fast, and we use that to get the initial mold of your belly button, but it deteriorates
to make
like
the
really
silicone product.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I kept wanting to call it an antigen. So we're trying to figure out how to put that deep enough in my belly button that you would get like a deep,
like the true copy of it.
Yeah. Because the first one, like it was nice, but it wasn't.
It didn't go all the way down.
No, not as much. But it was still fun to play with.
Like maybe like half my nail, half my index fingernail probably is how deep it was.
And it was still like satisfying, but it wasn't like it could have been deeper. And so you had the idea of, we have marbles that we bought them with the purpose of me just sticking one in my belly button to see what happens.
Because we actually, I remember the first idea we had with marbles was like, hey, what if we like left it in your belly button for like a whole week? Would you be down? And you said like, let's try
I'd be down. So the other night we put one in before we went to bed, like for the purpose of stretching out my belly button.
So it was in for probably like what, like 7 hours?
Yeah, 7 hours. But to make a wider tunnel for the stuff to seep down into, and it worked. But the marble itself, like I didn't feel it in. Like you would ask me if it's still in there, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, because we shoved it in there like pretty hard.
It was so deep that morning when I woke up, when we were getting ready to, it was like the first thing we did in the morning. So we woke up, we got set up to put the alginate in and all that stuff. I got up, I went to the bathroom, and I lifted up my shirt, and I couldn't even see it. Like that's how deep it was in there.
No,
it was
really?
It was also like a darker one, so it could have just looked like a shadow.
Yeah,
but it wasn't sticking out. Like it was in my belly button.
Well, we made sure of that before you went to bed too.
Yeah.
Like we shoved it in there.
It was deep in there.
Yeah.
And it certainly was because it worked.
Yeah.
It got like really deep.
But we also the other thing we changed too was like, so I'm mixing the alginate and you feel it like thicken up like pretty fast, like within a minute. And I was like, okay, first we need to put some like Vaseline in your belly button so that it like it slips right out the second that we're done and we get to pull it out. Because obviously like every little crease in your belly button creates like a really fine like ridge on the alginate, which can like tear right off. So I'm just like, I want it to be really high detail and I want it to be removed easily. So the second we popped out the marble, I took like a little bit of Vaseline and like rubbed it around. And then I poured the alginate in a little bit just so it filled your belly button. And then I put my finger in there and I like got in every nook and cranny in there.
And you pushed it in there and then your finger was like all blue.
Yeah, my finger was completely blue.
It looked like he was wearing those blue finger condoms that you get in the first aid kit.
And then, we poured the rest on top of that and it was great. I mean, we have the video. We could probably post the video. I posted it to, I think, Instagram story. I don't think I posted it on like a reel or anything.
Yeah.
But we could probably post that so we can like show everybody like how deep it was. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
We've been hitting tons of issues with like air bubbles in the mixture, and you know, we're learning about all these things that we need to get or different processes we can try to like eliminate the bubbles, even vacuum chambers. Like we've been looking at everything to try to like get like a perfect product, you know, because it's our intention to like sell it because we think it's like kind of a hot kind of fidget toy. Almost.
It feels good. And you know what? Like it feels weird for me to touch it because I feel like I'm touching myself.
Does it really?
The way that like in the most recent one that we made, like the really deep one.
Yeah.
Like to me, it feels like me.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it's weird. It feels really weird. And it looks weird to see you touch it. Like I'm sitting.
Really?
Like when you told me that during the day, like it was like your fidget toy and you were
seriously,
just
I was working at my computer and I just like
touching
my
it
hand.
and it's like you were just like touching me like all day. Yeah, but it's cool. And it's cool. It like looks like that section of my stomach.
Yeah. Like aside from like the small bubbles that we have in the surface, like it's pretty solid. You know, and I don't know. So one of the things we are doing is we are auctioning off these two initial molds that we got. The one that's very deep and then the other one that's not so deep, but still satisfying. It's still.
Oh, it's still great. It's like just like a regular belly button.
Yeah.
Like you can still put your finger in there. It's just not like a cave.
It's like a shallower version of your belly button.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, still stretchy silicone material. Yeah, not like 100% flawless. You know, it's our very first attempts.
But it's not ugly.
It's definitely not ugly.
No, I
think it's still very satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upon just looking at it, it's perfect. Until you
my baby.
It's baby. Until you inspect it like on a deeper level and then you notice like the air bubbles and stuff like that. So and if you're super picky, you'll be like, ugh. But if you're not super picky, you'll be like, oh, whatever. You know?
Honestly, I think if anybody listening like had it or like wanted to play with your belly button and had that instead, they would be happy.
I think it's cool that it's mine. Right? Like if I had something like that of like a specific person's, like it would be crazy.
It would, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope like once we start filming with other people in the future, like it'd be cool to like, you know, everybody who has like a play session with us or something, like we get a mold of their belly button before they leave. You know? Oh
my God. When you were saying that the other night, because you mentioned that last night, like we're just gonna have like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And we can put them like display them, like imagine like we had a living room and like we like display them on a mantle and like people come over and it's like, what is that? Like people aren't 100% sure.
They're gonna think we're
just like
cannibals
wondering.
or something.
Yeah. Little taxidermy belly buttons. So anyway, that was what we did this week. We're still doing it. We're still in process, but it's been fun. It's been a fun art project.
Yeah, it has been. And I think, you know, I think we got it pretty dialed in. We know what we need to do. We know what we need buy, you know, because right now we don't really have a way of taking a mold of your belly button and having it last forever.
I'm excited to try that.
Yeah.
And have like a permanent
something
mold.
that we can like make replicas from over and over and over.
Because the alginate shrinks a lot.
Oh my God. Like I was so disappointed because like we got that really deep impression. And
then like a few hours later it was
well, I mean, it didn't shrink a lot, but it was noticeable
enough. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal because it still produced a really deep result, but it could have been deeper. And that's why I'm excited to do it again, because the next one will be even deeper than this one. And this one's already deep. Like I put my finger in it and it like hangs from my finger.
I should leave the marble in for the whole day.
Yeah.
I wonder how big it would get. I wonder if it'd get bigger.
I don't think it would get bigger. I think because like, I think when we removed it, it was the size that it would be if you left it in for the day. I think that it would just maybe stay open longer. Yeah, that's my prediction. I don't know.
It just gets huge.
Fucking Mythbusters of shit.
Belly button Mythbusters. Yeah, maybe we can have one of them on. We can have Adam on. And then the one that looks like a walrus. The one with the mustache.
Oh, he does look like a walrus. Jamie.
Oh yeah. We can have them two on.
I was like, who the hell is the walrus? I'm like, no, you're right. He does look like I'm pretty sure I've seen that meme. So, do you want to get into voicemails?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so excited.
Okay, here's the first one.
Hey guys. Hopefully you can hear me. It's raining its ass off where I am right now, but yeah. This is kind of hard for me to do. I'm still like kind of embarrassed about having this fetish, but I've had this fetish forever. Probably since I was at least 5 or 6 years old. I would, see like Destiny's Child, Christina Aguilera, Beyonce with their belly buttons, and I don't know what happened. I mean, I knew I was turned on, but I didn't understand that at the time. And, fast forward to now, still into the belly button fetish community. What you guys are doing is fantastic. I'm so glad we have this podcast where we can, discuss our feelings about belly buttons. And I don't know, I don't want to keep rambling on, but I do have a wife who lets me partake in this fetish, although she does not have a belly button fetish herself. I'm just glad I found someone who's open to it and lets me, do what I got to do to get off from it. So I don't want to bore you guys anymore. Just keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to hearing the next episode. And you guys take care.
He sounded so nice.
It was a good message, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first one. That was our very first voicemail.
He sounded so nice. I thought it was interesting that he mentioned feeling weird talking about it.
Yeah.
And he's still getting used to it because you say the same exact thing.
I feel the same exact way. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I wonder does he have anybody? Because I believe he reached out to me on Instagram. Let me see. What was pull up your notes. What was
Are you asking his username?
Yeah.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Sonic288133.
Okay, so Sonic, he and I have talked a little bit on Instagram. Seems to be a really chill guy. But yeah, I wonder if he has anybody beyond, the Instagram DMs, to like chat about this with.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how, even though his wife doesn't share the fetish, like, do they talk about it?
Yeah.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
Because in my last relationship, I didn't talk about it. I shared it with her, and early on in our relationship, I think, she would let me play with her sometimes, rarely. It didn't make her feel good. She didn't really like the feeling. Wasn't very arousing like it was for me. And so she started playing with mine more. And then that's what it evolved into. Like she would only play with mine.
Yeah.
But aside from that, when it came to just talking about it, we would never just have a conversation about it. Not like you and I have.
Yeah.
We could just like talk about it. Like, like we're talking about what we're going to get for dinner or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to talk to somebody about anything that you don't share a common interest with.
Yeah. Because you're not getting a return
Yeah.
it. You're
At
not
that
getting...
point, they're just listening.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's important to have like a true back and forth with somebody, you know, and it's a rare thing to find in this community. I mean, or I don't want to say this community, but like any fetish community, I'd imagine.
The foot fetish community seems like a tight-knit group of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a bunch of them, and I feel like they're out there, and
it's an infestation.
nobody puts like a weird stigma on foot fetish people.
You know,
Quentin Tarantino puts it in his movies.
Yeah.
He's never come out and said that he has one, but you know that man does.
You definitely know.
I'd put money on it.
You know, it's so funny because we were watching Love Island. If anybody likes trash TV.
If anybody wants to start like a side podcast with me about like Love Island, it's so funny because you got me into Love Island.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And then for a second I was like, whoa. And then I stopped watching it and now I'm like obsessed with it again.
The UK version specifically.
Yeah, I've never watched any other version, just UK.
But just to bring this up as an example, there was a guy who had a foot fetish and he was like very out about it, you know? And so when the guys would leave and they would stay in another house without the women, and a whole new batch of women would come in. And for the girls that stayed behind, a whole new batch of men came in.
Yeah.
They'd be apart for like 3 or 4 days. They would do these competitions that happened simultaneously. And it would be like whoever finishes first wins type thing. So it was a bunch of tasks. And one of them was like, the shortest person, who happens to be the guy with the foot fetish, the shortest person needs to suck the toes of the guy he fancies the most or something like that.
Yeah.
And the girl who stayed behind, the girl he's partnered up with, just knows. And everybody there knows he's the one sucking the toes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody knows. But it was just crazy how it's like that guy was just open about it. Everybody in the house knew about it. And it was just like...
It was a thing. And it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had the balls to live like that in front of friends and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really have those relationships with my friends. Where we talk about like sexual shit all the time.
Yeah.
So.
I used to joke with one of my friends that he had a foot fetish. Our relationship was nowhere near sexual. It was like 100% platonic. But every time I would come over, he would mention something about my feet.
Really?
He'd be like, "Oh, like I like your nail polish, or like my lack of nail polish." Like you would notice my lack of nail polish.
So either situation.
He would always like comment on like the shoes I was wearing, or
you're like that comment plus that comment means he just likes my feet.
He would always point out my feet, and I would always joke with him. We'd all joke with him about like his foot fetish. Like it was just like this person like and his foot fetish, and he was like, "I don't have one," but it was like, I don't know.
He probably did.
He probably did. But even if we did, like none of us would have judged him for it at all.
Sure.
Yeah, but it was so funny. He totally did. Or he totally does.
No, you know what's funny is that my friends in VR, they used to joke that I had a foot fetish. It just became a thing.
Why? How did that come
Someone definitely made a joke and then they just kept it going.
Yeah.
Right? All the while not knowing that I have a belly button fetish. Right.
Yeah.
And so
like,
I got close with these 2 girls. Like they became like really good friends of mine. Like I would always hang out with them in VR. And like we even had like a Instagram, thread going. And I just remember one day I was like, because when they joke about it in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh man, like, should I tell them
that
like,
you have a fetish?
I always felt, and I was in a relationship at the time that was not like, it wasn't happening in terms of like my fetish.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't getting fulfilled in that way like I needed to.
Yeah.
And so the thought of like having conversations about it with other people was like very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like not in like a sexual way, but just like being open about it. And I didn't really know these people in real life. Obviously we were friends on Instagram, so I got to see their real faces and stuff, but we hung out in VR. So I don't know, there's something that felt like kind of removed from it. Safer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told them, I was like, that's not my fetish. And then they're like, oh,
they're like, what is?
Yeah.
Thinking it's, something else that they've heard of.
Yeah. And I told them and they were like, they were so chill about it.
Yeah.
They were so nice about it. And granted, like a lot of our conversations together were like, I felt like I was one of the girls, to be honest, when they were like, when they would talk in the thread, because they would talk about this dude that they just like slept with, or this dude that they just met at the bar or whatever. And I'm sitting back like, nothing to add to the conversation. It felt good, like opening up to them and saying something. I felt like we totally got off track with this guy's voicemail.
And you started talking about us.
I know.
And this is the second time we've talked about the foot fetish in the podcast. We talked about it last week too with the mayonnaise, right? Or was that
we did
a So I guess
maybe that's just going to be a thing that we do.
If you guys have any friends that have a foot fetish, also send them this podcast because we cover both
to varying degrees.
Yeah. But yeah, so to wrap up that voicemail, I really liked it. Thank you for sending that.
I really liked it too. I'm happy that he has somebody who lets him partake in it, because that
makes me
to me is super important. It's a good thing to take baby steps into it. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I'm saying baby steps weird.
No,
baby steps.
Bib steps.
Baby step.
It's because you're wearing your Moira shirt.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Baby steps. Baby.
But yeah, I mean, if you're an absolute no, that's a difficult spot to be in, especially if like you love the other person. Like, God, is that sort of feels like the situation I was in.
Yeah.
Because I really liked that person, but there was this whole other side of me that wasn't like being fulfilled in like any way.
How did you handle that for like so long? Like, how many times would you like play with yourself, or like did you have to almost completely abandon your fetish as a whole, or would you still just satisfy yourself on your own?
That's pretty much what it turned into.
Yeah.
Like I started playing with my own.
But would you do it like on a regular basis that was like right for you, or do you feel like you had to still hide it? I
mean, like for me, I really like any to Audi play. So it gets really red. You know, when I pull it out and I tie a rubber band around it or string or whatever, like you're going to see it. So I was always like nervous to play with it and, you know, take my shirt off or be in the shower with her and like have her see that like my belly button's totally fucked up or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but
would she get like weirded out knowing that you played with it, or would
no,
she get like
because she knows like what I liked to do to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was open in the beginning with like what I liked, but you know, there was a lull in the relationship where like it wasn't really brought up because I know that she didn't like it. And
okay. So it's just like you were like embarrassed to have her see that you did something just because you know that you guys don't share that together.
Yeah.
Like you felt different.
I felt like she wouldn't understand. Like, I guess she wouldn't understand like the pain part of it. Because it's taken me a while to realize that like pain is sort of like a part of it. Like it's pleasurable to me, you know, to a degree. And pain involves like seeing it for a few days, you know?
Yeah.
I ended up playing with mine a lot more, especially like towards the end of our relationship. Like I played with it a lot. And I feel like I started to, even through therapy, like I brought up with my therapist, like about like the, you know, I didn't really dive into like the kink that I had, but I let her know like I have a kink and she doesn't share it. And, you know, she kind of helped me like work through that. But I feel like as we got to the end of my relationship with her, I was at a stage in my life where I was like, I knew that I needed to like fully embrace it and not hide it anymore and not try to like shove it deep down.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, to wrap up that voicemail, thanks for calling.
Good job, dude.
Good job, man.
I also like the rain sounds in the back. It was really nice.
Yeah, very calming.
Yeah.
Very calming.
You're so lucky you live somewhere where it rains.
Very.
I wonder what that's like.
All right, you want to hop into voicemail number 2?
Also, side note, I wonder if I wanted to say this about his voicemail. I wonder if there's anything that she's really into that he doesn't really care about that he like, you know, helps her out with in the same way.
Oh,
like I wonder if it goes both
little
ways.
tradesies.
Yeah.
Right.
So send us a comment. Let us know.
Yeah, give us an update.
Can you follow up on all these questions sporadically sprinkled into these stories?
Also, he brought up Christina Aguilera and Destiny's Child. 100% totally on board. Like when I think about like my fetish really fully blooming, I remember fucking walking around the swap meet with my grandpa and seeing like a Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera like CD like hanging up at a booth or whatever.
You know what's so funny is that I distinctly remember Britney Spears's and Christina Aguilera's belly buttons.
Oh, for sure.
I could draw a picture of their stomachs right now.
Yeah, that's very much a part of their persona and like who they were and their image. And, you know, it's like you almost never like saw their faces and like didn't see their belly button.
Yeah.
You know,
I have a poster and I know we're going to talk about like celebrity stuff like later on.
Yeah.
But I had a poster of Britney Spears when I was like 5 years old. And I can still remember the way that poster looked. I loved it. Like I remember the height that I was and the, you know, the poster was up higher. I was in perfect view like of her stomach region. She was on a porch and she was like leaning up against like a beam.
Yeah.
And I forget like her pose, but she was like leaning up against a beam. Her head was like on the beam and she was wearing like a pink crop top. I don't know if it was like a tube top, I think it was a long sleeve. It was a tight pink long sleeve.
Yeah.
And these like really shallow, like low rise jeans, obviously. And she was just super tan. And I remember you could see the detail in her stomach. Like you could see like her pores.
Yeah.
And like it was like soft
goosebumps.
and like, yeah, like her goosebumps. And like I remember enjoying that.
Yeah.
And like I remember like wanting to look like that as a 5-year-old.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I remember like enjoying looking at that part of the poster.
Yeah.
Like not her face, not her clothing, but like that part of the poster.
For me, I remember the Britney Spears image it was an album cover where she is.
Where she's around the beads.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the Oops, I Did It Again album cover.
Yep.
That was my favorite album. I want to get it on vinyl.
Do you really?
That's a good one. Same thing. She has that little, I can perfectly see that album cover in my mind.
Really?
She has that like little poof, like stomach thing that I like.
It's like where it looks really soft.
Yeah.
Like, that is like my favorite thing.
And it's not completely flush with her jeans, but it's not like she's like a muffin top or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're describing it perfectly. Exactly.
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
You whistle. Somebody walks in.
Bring them out.
I hear like a truck backing up or something.
Oh, I'm sorry if I screamed into the microphone right now. I tried really hard not to. I'm just like clutching my stomach.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, sorry it took so long to get through that voicemail. We are going to hopefully be shorter on the next one. Here we go.
You can now skip to hour 5 of this episode. Okay, what was the second one? This is so much fun.
Hello. This is awesome. It definitely feels nice to have some sort of like really clear community. I like that, you know, all of what, you know, you guys are doing, just talking about your experiences, like, it feels nice to be really seen. Yeah, I don't know. I've like felt really complicated about my like belly button fetish because I feel like it gets in the way of just like sex with people who don't necessarily feel the same way. I don't know. Have you guys ever dealt with that? I feel like it's the kind of thing where, you know, I might hook up with somebody and when I'm feeling vulnerable enough, I'll like share that and they'll usually think it's weird or like not really be open to like feeling sensitive there. Even if they are sensitive there, they're like not really open to it. And it just kind of feels like, I don't know, I think because the fetish is so strong for me, like it kind of prevents me from making other connections. I don't know. But yeah, just wondering if y'all have ever dealt with that. And little, you know, what's the word? Like the Craigslist thing. seeking, whatever. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. You can cut that out if you want, but if there's anyone in the Southeast Michigan area that's into this kind of thing, would love to connect, would love to talk. Yeah, because it would be cool to, meet some new people. Anyway, thank you again, and have a good day.
I feel so like emotionally connected to these people.
Right?
I'm so soft.
Doesn't it feel good hearing these people's voices?
Yeah. Makes me want to like have a big meetup in a park.
Right?
And just hug everybody.
Yeah, let them know it's okay.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting when he mentioned that he's hooked up with people who they have felt sensitivity down there, but were still like not into it. And
yeah.
I don't get that.
Well, I don't know if he means sensitive in like a pleasurable way, because I think there's like definitely a mixture across the world of people who feel pain when it's poked, and other people who feel ticklish, and other people who feel like pleasure.
True.
And others that feel absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what he's referring to in that way, but I definitely know, as I stated before, like what it's like to be in a relationship where it's not being reciprocated. Mm-hmm. But she also wasn't the first who didn't share the fetish,
Yeah.
I mean, even when I, like, before my last relationship, the person I was with was Sydney, who I did all those other videos with.
Yeah.
And she didn't have the fetish, but she enjoyed playing with her belly button once I started kind of like introducing her to it, you know? So I kind of got lucky there, but I can remember like past relationships where they did not like having it played with. They would like, if we were doing foreplay and I would like stop there to like look at a little bit, like I'd have my head shoved away or whatever. And that's fine. You just test the waters and you see, that to me is easier than being like, hey, do you like have your belly button played with? It's easier when you're just sort of like in the heat of the moment and you just sort of like
try it.
You just try it real quick and you can easily tell like if they're responding to it positively or negatively. And that sort of is what it is. But I feel you though, like it's a strong fetish for me, and it's hard to mute sometimes, when you're like trying to get to know somebody. It's almost like all paths like lead to that. Mm-hmm. Like when I was like getting to know people, in the back of my mind, it was like every conversation that I had with them, every interaction was steering the ship towards the admission of having this fetish, because that was the bridge that needed to be crossed to figure out whether this person is gonna run the other direction or stick around and see what it's like.
Yeah. I remember you asking me when we first started talking, like once we like liked each other, and we started talking about stuff like that. You asked me a lot, like if I had fetishes. Like I remember you asked me a few times.
Yeah.
And like I was so boring. I was like, I don't remember what I said. But you would ask me a lot. And then the first time like I came over, like you opened up to me about it. Mm-hmm. And now that I know kind of like how you feel about it and how like everybody feels about it, like I feel like that was like very brave of you to just like put it out there like right away. Like how did that feel? Like do you remember like how you felt when you were like building up to like ask me? Like we were laying in your bed and you like told me about it.
Well, here's the thing. We had known each other for years before. Mm-hmm. So this was different.
Okay.
Than meeting somebody online and going out for those first dates and admitting it to them then, type of thing. I knew deep down, because you're such a sweet person, that it was going to be like a positive experience, whether or not you wanted to proceed with me romantically. Like,
It makes me feel nice.
Yeah, like I knew that it was going to be okay, like either way. So that I felt a bit more comfortable doing that. Mm-hmm. Do I remember doing it? No, it's a blur. I more so remember the feeling of oh, not only is she like accepting of it, she's also like willing to participate. And look at that. She like actually enjoys it. Holy shit. You know, which was a major surprise because the only stories you told me were my sister poked it really hard when we were younger one time and it hurt so bad. And I'm like, oh my God, like I thought you were going to fit into that category of people who felt pain when they touched it, you know, or that memory scarred you. So you like never touched it again or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my best piece of advice that I could give to somebody, because there's a couple people who reached out to me asking for advice when it comes to like, how do I, because you are now the second person that, you know, the community knows that I've been with that has like openly participated in belly button fetish stuff, doing videos with me, all that. And, you know, you and I are building our relationship. And is striking gold a rude term to use in this instance? Like, I feel like I struck gold twice.
It makes me feel special.
You know? Okay, because I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to come off as like a rude phrase. No. I feel like it's because I focused on the relationship first, then revealing the fetish to you first, if that makes sense.
And I agree that
I didn't put that at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I made sure that we like built a connection first. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of, when we were friends for 4 years, we were both in our own relationships. Like I wasn't like planning to get to this point with you. It just sort of happened once our relationships ended around the same time and we started talking, like things just sort of happened naturally. But once I heard you were single and we went out on that first date, I wasn't thinking about telling you about my fetish. It wasn't an important thing to me right then and there. Even though it's an important thing in my life, it wasn't something that I needed to get off my chest right away.
See if she has it and then go from there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, for some people, it's been like, you know what, get it out faster. So you just know, so you can save yourself the time if they don't like it, you know? But no, I think the reason why you and Sydney like ended up working out the way they did was I like try to solidify a relationship first, you know, and I don't know, I feel like it was just more comfortable that way, opening up about something like that, making sure that you're comfortable participating in something like that. Yeah.
Because I had no idea that that was even a fetish.
Yeah.
And I feel like if some random person like that I met on the internet, that was like one of the first things that they asked me about, I feel like I wouldn't be as inclined to experiment with it. But because like I know you and I care about you and I like trusted you at that point, like I was like willing to like experiment into like what that meant. You know, I was like more curious and I wanted to know like that side of you. And then I'm glad I did, because it turns out that I like it and I'm discovering like all these new things about myself. So that's been nice.
Yeah, because is this the time to like work in that the moment where you were surprised that I was as sexual as I was?
That was the beginning of it. And then like over time, like over like having experiences with you and like belly button stuff related and not like just like when we would like do stuff, like I was,
because originally you thought that I was
like very like vanilla, like very much so, like, but people,
because that's how I come off, right? Like I'm very unassuming. I feel like you're very unassuming too. Like
I come
you seem
off
like
the same
a very
way. Like nobody ever thinks that I like sex. Like in high school, like people would say like, oh, she's not into sex. Like she doesn't like sex.
I mean, but that's also young age. Like you mean like when you were older, high school?
Like older high school. Like we're talking about junior, senior year. Yeah, not freshman or anything. Yeah. Weird. Yeah, and then just like my whole life, like people always see me as somebody who like, you know, just like real good, like real pure.
Yeah, kind of a prude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like prude is such a negative word.
It does kind of have a weird ring
I hope
to
I
it.
don't come off as somebody who hates other people having sex.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no,
I
you're
hope
right.
That's
you're right.
not
that
it at all. I hope not. That makes me feel bad. But I like that people, I kind of like that people.
You like wearing Amish clothing all the time.
I hope people don't view me as an Amish. No offense to any, we don't have any Amish listeners.
I just like making butter. I don't know what people have a problem with.
What?
You're like, I just like making butter. I don't know what people have a problem with.
A girl can't churn butter casually on a Friday afternoon without getting judgment. Okay, sorry. Anyway, point. I like being unassuming.
Same.
And I feel like I like you for that reason too, because I feel like we're both like very like vanilla seeming, like unassuming people.
So you were prepared to hop into this relationship with me thinking that I only liked sex. What did you say? You said I only
like
liked sex?
once a month, super regular.
Only missionary.
Yeah, only missionary. Just to do it.
You were prepared to get into that.
Yeah, and that was fine with me because those are the only people I've ever been with. I've never been with anybody who was like anything more than that.
Not really adventurous.
Yeah, not adventurous. It was missionary or doggy.
The way you said that was so funny. Missionary or doggy.
I was with somebody, and I'll tell you who it was later if you want to know.
Okay.
But I was with somebody, like a past relationship of mine, who he thought me, like sucking his dick. I feel weird saying that.
Wait, he what?
He thought me like sucking his dick on my knees was risque.
Really?
He thought it was like, oh, like he was like, this is dangerous.
This is level 3.
Yeah.
Red alert.
On my knees. He'd be like, whoa, are you sure?
Are you?
like he'd be like, he thought it was like wild.
Really?
Like, on my knees.
How old were you?
Do you just want me to tell you like which relationship it was? I won't say the person's name.
Sure.
It was my last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. I guess that makes a little more sense.
Why?
I don't want to get into details, but I feel like based on information that I know that you've given me in the past, that checks out.
I would love to know why when we're done with this.
Very traditional, maybe.
Oh, okay.
If that's a good way to put it.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, okay. Interesting.
And honestly, that kind of, it would bother me a little bit because I always felt like I wanted to be a little bit more, because I'm just naturally that way. Like, I'm not some crazy sex know-it-all type person, that like knows all these things. But like, I always wanted to be a little bit more. I felt like I needed that.
Yeah.
Like, it got really stale.
Okay.
To the point where, like, for other reasons, we weren't doing stuff anymore, but we just stopped. Like, I didn't even want to have sex. Like, I didn't have sex for the last 3 months of my relationship.
Mine was 2 months.
Wow.
We didn't know that about each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the last 2 months. No joke.
Yeah, we didn't even have sex. I didn't want to. It was never really brought up, but like when it was initiated in like the worst ways possible, like I would just be like, no, like I'm not in the mood.
Yeah. Yeah, because there were times where it started to feel a little forced, like we were checking a box. Like,
yeah, exactly. But I always wanted something a little bit more. So, and then when I met you, I figured that about you, but it didn't bother me, because it was, it never really bothered me. I guess it did bother me a little bit, but I didn't like, that wasn't going to get in my way of like being with you, like, and exploring that.
So there was a part of you that thought, oh man, this guy's vanilla. That might be a hurdle for me to get past.
No, I never saw it as a hurdle. I just saw it as like in a way it was like, that's just what sex was, Yeah. That's just the way it was going to be. And like, spicy sex was like for television and porn, so it was never like a hurdle. It was never like something that I was just like, well, if I want to be with this person, I'm going to have to like put that away. I never thought about that at all.
Yeah.
But then I still remember the excitement that I felt like when I was starting to discover that like you're like
not vanilla.
Not vanilla at all. And this is outside like belly button stuff too. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And like you're my favorite person that I've like
Aww.
had sex with.
You never told me that before. That's sweet.
Yeah. And I feel like I've discovered a lot about myself sexually, like being with you.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never used toys before me.
Never. And now I have tons.
Yeah.
And they all need to be
nothing
charged.
outside of a vibrator.
What?
Right? Nothing outside of a vibrator.
No, I just have different types of vibrators.
Yeah.
I have.
But still, I was so surprised that you did never try a vibrator before me.
Well, like in my last relationship, like that would have been like rude. Like, it would have been rude to have
because it would have
one.
been viewed as like, you know, you were using this as a replacement to me.
Yeah.
I am not good enough. That's why you're using this toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's still, like, in the beginning, it felt taboo. Like, when I bought that first one, I didn't feel bad, but it felt weird that I was using it, you know? Like, I felt like it was almost like disrespectful. And then when you would use them on me, like that felt like, I don't want to say weird, because it's not, I didn't think it was weird, but just overall, if that makes sense. Like, it just felt taboo, I guess.
Okay.
And like not something that should be happening.
But that quickly went away.
Yeah. And I realized that it can happen and that it's totally okay.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
I love my vibrators.
I am glad that we are very unassuming. Like, I like that people can look at us as a couple, if we want to call us a couple at this point, and like they look at us and they'd never know.
Yeah.
They would never guess.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into this last voicemail?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, this is Mr. Spock, a former belly button model. First, I wanted to say I've really enjoyed your content, Zoe and outiebyte. I know that this is a fairly new experience for Zoe, so I wanted to ask about Zoe's first belly button play experience and how it felt for her. I remember when I came up to my husband and admitted to him my belly button fetish. I was about 27 years old, and I never told anyone my secret. And I remember explaining to him that my belly button had a special connection to my vagina, just as Zoe explains in a video. It was both terrifying and exciting to admit something so personal and intimate to someone I loved so dearly. So again, I just wanted to know if Zoe had a similar experience. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
It's a question for me.
For you.
For me. I feel like my belly button fetish experience and like how that came to be is so different from everybody else's, because it wasn't something that I discovered on my own or lived with and had to deal with in an isolating way and navigate that. Like, I discovered it through somebody who had one, you know, and who introduced it to me. So there's been nothing but like support and fun this whole time. And I kind of feel bad, like a little bit. I feel bad.
Because of the people that you come across in the community
like I feel like I'm very, fortunate to have had the experience that I've had, you know, that my first experience is a positive one. I feel bad that other people haven't felt the same and that they feel nervous to talk to their loved ones about this, and you know, they're scared to like open up to people. And my first experience, I have two things I want to say. I remember vividly my first like Audi play experience, which I'll talk about, but the first, I don't remember specifically the first time you like poked my belly button and I felt like the sensation. I don't remember that like moment specifically, but I remember like how it felt, and I remember like being surprised. So we were laying in your bed, you know, but and I remember little bits. I think we were doing other things, and then I think you poked your finger in there, and I was a little nervous because before that point, the only other time somebody stuck their finger in there was my sister. And she jammed she's younger than me, so she jammed her little finger straight back there, and it stung, and not in a good way. And so I was a little nervous, but I was also open to it. And you poked me, and it felt really good. Like, I felt like almost like a canal going from like my belly button to like my vagina. It doesn't feel the same as like when I like rub my clit, but like there's something that like connects the two. Like, it feels good. And so that was like really surprising. And I like, remember, like, I was just shocked that, like, I could feel that way with that part of my body.
And I thought you were putting on, like,
Really?
To a degree, I was like, because it's like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
You know, I feel in my mind, I was like, really, did I get lucky? Did I get lucky again and find someone who like really, really enjoys this?
Mm-hmm.
So like to a small degree, I was like, does she really?
Oh.
Like I almost like doubted it at first.
Yeah.
You know, but no, it's legit.
I was shocked. And then I remember the first Audi play experience. I think it was the first one. But also on your bed. And that's when I started discovering that I like pain.
And that was the first video that we filmed, right? Or did we try Audi stuff before that? We tried it before, right? Because we had that cell phone video.
Yeah, with the cell phone video.
Yeah.
We tried Audi stuff. I don't think we were filming.
So I only filmed on my phone a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was quick.
Yeah.
But you tied it out, like you used the section tool, like the white one, and you tied it out. And that was the first time I discovered that I liked pain more than I thought I did. Because I remember when we were initially talking, I told you that I like things soft. And
yeah, you said you didn't like rough sex at all and things like that. So that to me...
And that's not true.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I'm discovering that I like is that I like... Because I like part of the reason... Like, I like the pain of it, too. Like, I like when you poke me really deep. And I like the pain that comes with the Audi play stuff. Yeah, when it's tied out, like I don't get, like, it's not like the little nub is like super sensitive. I know for some people it is, but for me it's not. Like for me, it's the pulling of it. Pulling of it, like that part, because I even like when it's just when the section toy is left on it and you pull that out in like a pulsing manner. I love that.
Yeah.
I like the pulling sensation, and then the rubber band tied around it. I like the pain of that, and those two things together is what I like about Audi play stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but
well, that's exciting to hear. We haven't really
we've never really talked about it like in depth.
Yeah.
Like.
Because I know you enjoyed it, but I never really knew what aspects of it that you enjoyed.
So yeah, nothing. I feel like I have nothing like super descriptive, like story time of like, oh, I like lay down and like he said this to me and then this happened. But you use the suction toy.
The suction specific, so not the extractor. We used
it was the white one, the twisty one,
the twist one. So it's like from those massage cupping sets. It's like one of the smallest sizes you can get.
And I just remember laying there and feeling you, because I also really didn't know how it went. I didn't know the steps. I didn't know what to expect really. But
also, even today, like I remember when we filmed your double tie Audi play video. You like, I had to ask you to like look down at it. It's like you are literally in it like just for the pleasure of it.
Yeah, like I don't need to look at it.
You're in like another zone.
I'm like I'm like a feeling person.
Yeah.
But it's the same like I liked when you blindfolded me that one time. Just we weren't filming, but
it's
like
so funny how we're different that way because I'm such
I don't need to see it.
For me it's all about like visual stimulation. And you're about just you can close your eyes, turn off the lights. It's like, just let me feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember you wrapping the rubber band around it, and each time you wrapped around, like it hurt more and more. And it was a pain I've never experienced before. And it did hurt, but I liked it.
And this is all new to me too. Like I did not know that it was like a painful experience.
Really? You didn't know?
I don't think I knew that it would.
You didn't know that I was in pain? I thought I've talked about it.
Really? Maybe my memory's just...
Yeah, every time we tie it out, it hurts, but it hurts.
Well, I know like every time well, sure, but I'm talking about like the first time.
Oh.
I didn't know that the first time was painful for you because every time beyond that, it's like, been injured, basically.
Yeah.
So to me, that made sense that it hurt, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first like Audi experience. And then just discovering things. Like I just discovered with this episode that I liked Britney Spears' belly button when I was 5 years old. I'm still thinking about that and how I didn't know that it went back that far. Or like I've talked about this before, but the thing with the pliers and when I I just immediately was like, oh, I want to like put these on my belly button.
Yeah.
I have like shown little like signs of like being interested.
Yeah.
And I never knew. This is all very exciting.
It is very exciting. It's cool. It's cool seeing you discover it as we go.
I like having my things that I like. Like I didn't at first. Like it's not like we did things and I was like, this is what I like the most. Like I've learned slowly, like over the months of like what my things are within it. Like your favorite thing is like Audi play stuff. Like I like it, but it's not my favorite. And I think part of that too is because I like demolish my belly button each time. It's sad.
Yeah.
That's like, something I wish I could change. Like if anybody has tips or if anybody else's belly button like gets cut up into pieces and bleeds every single time, like let me know because I'm tired of it.
But even just hearing you say like, oh, I know that for some people when they pull theirs out, it's very sensitive. Like I'm like, oh, she's learning something. All right, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Look at me, butterfly. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for calling in.
I think she said that she was 27 years old and she never told anybody.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I can't imagine holding it in for that long and not like saying a thing. I don't know if she's had experiences when she was younger, let's say in high school, college, you know, where she is like pushing the conversation that direction or dropping little hints that she likes like or whatever. I can understand like not maybe saying it outright, like I have a belly button fetish, but you know, yeah, that's crazy. That's a long time to like not admit or to admit to somebody finally for the first time that you have it. Yeah, that's wild. Because I think for me, the first time I actually admitted it, let me see, how old was I? I know I was in my 20s. No, I was in high school. Ooh, I have a story. I liked this girl. She liked me as well. And I think we were chatting on like AOL Instant Messenger. We were like on AIM. And I remember admitting to her. And this is crazy. I don't know if I'm not picking up on a certain bit of information that made it so that she was like playing me or something, but she sends me this link to a website that she says that she made like a year before. And it is a site that is like about how cool belly buttons are. No joke. It's like a single page. It's like, they're so cool. You can poke them, twist your finger, you can put things in them, you can do this and that. And it was like, what the fuck? This girl has a belly button fetish? Like, are you kidding me? And she was the first person I ever told. And she just happened to have one.
That's amazing.
She was the first person I told. She wasn't like the first person I did stuff with.
Yeah.
But she was the first person that I told. And I think I was probably a sophomore.
Did you ever do stuff with her? No.
I did once at the park that you and I drive by when we go on walks and we like drive past that one park where that has like the one basketball park.
Oh, yeah.
That park.
Oh my God.
That park. Yeah. Because she lived right down the street. Like we've actually driven past her house a few times.
Oh my God. Crazy.
Yeah. And
what did you do with her?
We went there after school. It was an early day. And we walked to the park and we basically like laid in the grass, like near a tree, put our backpacks down. And, I told her that I could pull mine out and she like had no idea what that was. And so I showed her and so she like held it out and like licked it and like
oh my
played
God.
with it. Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And,
wow. Did you get hard?
Oh, hell yes, I did. Are you kidding? It was crazy. It was
hell yes, I did.
It was the most arousing like experience I ever had at that point. And she was like a bigger girl. So hers was like crazy deep. And, you know, so I was like playing with hers and stuff. I just felt really bad because like, I remember she was laying there and I was like kind of like leaning on my arm. I was kind of propping myself up next to her.
Yeah, like a Jeff Goldblum pose.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And exactly. Great reference. And she just had her shirt up a little bit and I was just like tinkering with her belly button. And there's these like middle schoolers who were like, I don't know, 50 feet away, 100 feet away. They were like, ew, like what the fuck are they doing? Like they just shouted shit at us. And we just like kept doing our thing. But I felt like so bad because they were like teasing her.
Yeah.
And didn't say anything really about like me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I remember tacked on at the end of that memory.
Oh, sad. Middle schoolers suck in every capacity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fun of everything.
But yeah, it was a cool experience. That was definitely that was my first.
That's a really cool experience.
I know.
That's
and again, I don't
experience.
know. I don't know if, and she also had a best friend and she told her best friend that I had a belly button fetish. So that friend would tease me sometimes about it, which wasn't a big thing because I was very attracted to her. And I was like, if I'm in this like little circle of friends, like maybe she'll show me hers one day. Like she never showed hers off ever. So I was always like, maybe she'll show me. And she would tease me too, that she would, you know, but she was like, I don't know. The only word that comes to mind is like a hard ass. Like she was like a big fucking tease. And I don't mean like in a sexual way. Like she felt like a big brother energy.
Yeah.
Like that would like that type of tease, you know? But yeah, she never showed me hers, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm like, what are the chances that this girl has a fucking website of all things that like.
Good for her for making a website.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But like, is it real? I don't think it was like, oh, I told her how to belly button fetish. And then like 3 days later, she like, oh, here's this website that I made like a year ago. Like I totally forgot about it. No, it was pretty quick. I'm pretty sure it was like the same conversation. She's like, no way. Let me send you this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty wild. But
I wonder what her experience was like. She put her thing out there. She made a website.
I don't think she put her name on it though.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she did, but I don't know. Yeah, just crazy. Like, what are the chances?
I like that story. It's a very sweet story.
How long are we running on this thing? It's been going for a while, right?
We're almost reaching an hour and a half.
Holy.
But I feel like we had a few like things we're gonna have to cut out and stuff like that.
Probably.
We still have to get to the questions. Yes,
which we can probably move into right now. I think we're done with voicemails. I think we were just gonna do 3.
Yeah,
because we got a few.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got like I don't know. I think we got 6 or 7, but I think we're gonna stop there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had some people send us.
And we'll like circle back to them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's best to like sprinkle them out slowly through multiple episodes so we don't just like blow.
Just in case nobody else ever sends us any ever again. Like we have to have more.
All right. So let's get into questions.
Okay.
These are questions that people left us on our Instagram story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first question is, what are our favorite types of belly buttons?
You can probably guess mine already.
Yeah, I feel like ours are kind of the same. Are we talking about stomachs or just belly buttons?
Belly buttons.
I actually don't know.
You don't know what mine is? See, because we like the same bellies.
Yeah.
We like the same exact shape.
Yeah.
You know, like curvy, a little extra, still slim, but
not like jacked. You know,
no abs.
Like a little squish.
Yeah, let's call it that, little squish.
little squish.
I kind of want to get a goldfish and just name it little squish.
Little squish. Pretty cute one. What's your favorite type of belly button?
I like Audis. I like belly buttons that look like they can turn into something else. And I know where that fascination started. It's with the old Audi lovers videos. And I don't think you've ever seen them. I don't think I've ever showed them to you. And I feel like I should show them to you. It's this guy who would like go around in public with his tape camera and like stop people on the street. And like, they were always Audis. And he would like poke and sort of prod them and like see if they could like unfold. And they typically could, like where he could basically like take this like nipple clamp thing and like clamp onto it and then like push it a certain way to make like the whole thing like come out. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating to me to like see it change shape or pull it out further or whatever. Like those swirly cinnamon bun looking ones, you can like, they kind of unravel. Like there's something fascinating about like a little fidget toy or whatever.
I remember you telling me all this.
Really?
Yeah. It's not about the videos, but about those belly buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's come back. We talked about this a long time ago.
Yeah. And what are yours? What would you say?
What are my favorites? My favorite ones, I like any ones. Mm-hmm. Though when I was younger, I always wished I had an Audi because I thought it was interesting and it looked fun. But yeah, I like any ones. I like, I'll say two things. I like, I don't know what that shape is. Kind of like the almondy shape.
Like more vertical?
Yeah, like more vertical. I think those look really nice. But I was looking at yours the other day. And what I like about yours specifically is that you have like an any one, but then there's like little folds like very close to the surface of it. Like on the inside.
Yeah. It's almost like a peace sign almost.
Yeah.
It's like a line with like, it's almost like a lowercase K with like the upper leg missing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say things and you look like you're laughing looking at me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just smiling. No, I'm like smiling, taking it all in, and I'm like,
there's
it makes
like
me feel
nothing
good.
wrong with it, but it just like it makes me want to laugh. Whenever you smile at me. But yes, I like the almond shaped, like any ones.
Now, do you mean like more of like a coin slot one?
Yeah, like a coin slot one.
Gotcha.
Not like horizontal, I like vertical. And then yeah, for like stomachs, I like the little squish.
Little squish. Okay. And question number 4 was, what is it's kind of it was phrased in an interesting way, but like it says beauty and meaning of a woman's belly button to a man.
Which is a beautiful question.
Yeah.
And applause to whoever wrote that. I don't know anybody's username.
Yeah.
Great question. Let's see. Beauty and meaning of a woman's belly button to a man. This question doesn't sound like it's to me, but I'm going to answer it anyway. I feel like your answer is going to be very similar because we talked about this earlier.
Are you stealing my answer?
I'm not going to steal your answer.
Okay.
The beauty and God, I feel like I'm on like Miss America.
Do you want me to go into it first?
Yeah, you go into it. I'm
Okay.
trying not to say anything of what you said before.
So I'll kind of repeat that then. So like for me, it is reminiscent of a vagina, you know? So not saying that's something that I look at and it's like, oh, I want to fuck that or anything. But it just in terms of its shape, it represents like femininity. It's a very sensual thing that leans more towards feminine than masculine to me.
Yeah.
It's also something that growing up, like seeing a midriff was something that was exciting to see. It was like seeing cleavage or breast like in a bra, you know, like seeing like the cover of or with the Victoria's Secret ad or something like that, you know? So whenever I saw like a bare midriff, it felt like to a degree it was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be able to see that right now.
Yeah.
But it was exciting that I could.
And it's such a big part of a woman's shape.
Yes.
Like you're seeing like a peek into like what they look like nude essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
And it does feel like you shouldn't be seeing it. Like even like before I met you and stuff like that, and I would see it like sometimes like it felt like if the crop top was really short, it'd be like, whoa, like I feel like I'm seeing this person naked. But I think it's beautiful also because it's the curviest part of like a woman's body. And that's like very beautiful. Like women's curves are very beautiful.
Like I've heard some people with the fetish like dive into like more energy based answers and connection to the womb and the mother and things like that, but I don't think my mind ever goes that direction.
It did to me.
Did it really?
When we first started, I think I mentioned this to you a little tiny bit. And I'm going to sound real stupid right now, but I always thought the umbilical cord was connected to the inside of your belly button.
Oh, like if you are carrying a baby.
Like if I'm carrying a baby, like that umbilical cord is connected to the inside of my belly button.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I know that that's stupid.
American health class.
I dropped out of those classes.
Did you really?
Well, I dropped out of anatomy.
But what about health?
I didn't make it to that part of health. I only made it to nutrition.
Oh man, so you just know what foods you got to eat. You know.
I did really well in nutrition.
You know the food groups,
and
but
I learned
you don't
a lot.
know the.
I know the different kinds of fats, and I can tell you all day, like what's good for you and what's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know any of that stuff.
Until what age did you?
Did I learn about the umbilical cord
Was it
thing?
the conversation with me?
Yeah.
No way.
Because I'm not a stupid person. But I'm going to sound like what I thought that they were connected. And a small fear I had of mine when we started pulling mine out, I was like, what if it gets damaged?
Oh,
and then I
your
can't
umbilical
carry
cord
a
inside.
child.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was worried that I might do something internally.
Well, it's funny because like there are some people who just like don't get that information. Like there are people who like don't know certain very common things.
Yeah.
And they just like don't come across that information.
Yeah.
It's just like not a part of their life, so it's understandable.
I mean,
but
I only took health classes. We had health class in elementary school. They touched upon health again in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember my like 9th grade health class.
Yeah, like you did like a sex ed thing, right? Or like, didn't you watch the videos in class where like they showed like a woman giving birth and everything like that? Or like you see the illustrations of the baby floating in the sack with, and it'll point to like placenta.
But they didn't like break down a umbilical cord.
Well, no, but they show it coming out of the baby and going into that big sack, the placenta.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I can't picture a visual on that.
Oh, you don't have a poster on your wall like I do?
No. I mean, we're so young when we go to those classes.
Yeah.
I was just mortified we were talking about sex
and
in
pregnancy
public.
was not a topic that you were talking about.
That wasn't on
often.
my mind.
Yeah.
I was not looking to get pregnant. I wasn't even looking to have sex. Like this class isn't for me. I was more focused on DARE, with DARE essay winner.
Yeah.
I was more focused on staying drug free. And
you did a great job.
I have. We say that like we're attracted to curves, like a woman's hips because they're childbearing and stuff like that. You carry a baby in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll carry the baby in my
carry
stomach.
that baby.
I'll carry that baby in my stomach.
Okay, question 5.
Okay. And this one's a heavy one.
This one's more of a heavy one, yeah.
Should I read it?
Sure.
Okay. Overcoming shame and stigma about having a fetish you feel like you had to get rid of. That makes me so sad.
Yeah.
That everybody feels that way, I feel like.
I don't know if everybody does, but I feel like vast majority for sure. I feel like it would be rare for someone who's just like out there, proud, doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I feel like a common theme that I've heard from every single person I've like spoken to online, and every person that's like said stuff to you, is that like they do feel shame and they feel like they've had to hide it, and they feel bad when they, try to bring it up to people and share that with people, and they just like dismiss it. And it just, to feel like it's something that you have to get rid of. Like that makes me so sad that you can't like thrive in being yourself.
Yeah.
With something that it's like that frowned upon and that closed off.
Yeah. I mean, I lived with this. I had so much shame surrounding it. I've dealt with this for a while, and it's definitely like morphed me into the person that I am today. I am a product of fetish shame. I really am. Like that is a big part of like my personality, or it was a big part of my personality, and it's kind of molded me because of it, in that way. So yeah, for a long time, I like never really understood it as like a sexual thing. When I was younger, it was just like playing with other people's belly buttons. I just found it sort of fascinating, and it was always sort of fun to just like poke and tease and stuff. And then you realize that when you look at stuff like that, you start to get an erection from it. And then you realize that it is kind of like more of like a sexual thing as you start learning about sex and stuff like that. But sex is always taught to you as being traditional sex and not like, oh, there's this offshoot thing that when I put a finger in a belly button, like it gets me off. Like that's not viewed as normal when you're growing up. So it's not so much that you didn't have anybody telling you that it wasn't normal. You just didn't have anybody around telling you that it was, so you just assume that people are just going to think that you're weird. You hear about other fetishes like foot fetish and this and that, and it's funny because you hear about breasts and butts like all the time, but that's like, that's like not a thing. That's not a stigma. That's not a taboo.
Yeah.
Or I should say that's not stigmatized. Anyway, yeah, I remember being young and playing with my belly button a lot. I remember like learning how to pull it out and it being like injured, it might have like a little scabbies on it. And then I would like be terrified to like show my mom. Like I'd be terrified to go out and try on jeans because she'd always ask me to lift up my shirt.
Yeah.
To check if they fit. And I would hate pulling my shirt above my belly button. I hated it. I didn't want her to see it like ever.
Did she ever see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did she ever ask you?
Like she never asked me like, what are you doing to it? It more looked like dirty and not infected. Like to her, she probably thought it looked infected, but it was just red and, had little scabs on it from me just being rough with it, And I don't think it ever happened while she was checking my jeans, but it happened while I was in the shower. I remember she'd like, because it wasn't a thing. I was still a child at the time. She like opened the shower door to like grab like a product of hers or something, and she noticed my belly button was like red and had scabs on it. And she was like super worried, and then when I dried off and got dressed, I had to go out in the living room and had to show my dad. And it was like, it felt weird. It felt so weird doing that, to most people, if they had like a dirty or hurt belly button, they probably wouldn't think twice, showing it to their parent who can help them fix it. But for me, it was like, oh, like that. I'm 33 and that's still sticking with me. Like I still remember that feeling.
I feel nervous for you.
Really? Oh, it gets worse. It gets way worse. Like I remember, taking pictures of like my belly button like pulled out, like tied mine out, and I had an erection. And I remember like I wanted to see what it looked like in a photograph. And so I had my dad's digital camera, but I remember like I took pictures of it. And I remember going into the kitchen to get a drink. And I remember being really quiet though, because I remember sneaking into the kitchen and not making a lot of noise. Because I think either I wasn't supposed to leave my room or something. But I remember looking out into the living room and both of my parents had those pictures on the computer. And they weren't saying a word, but they had them. And that was the most traumatizing moment of my life.
Did you have an erection in the photos?
I think I did. Yeah. And that scarred me for life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Forever. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember talking about it with them afterwards. I just remembered knowing that they saw it.
Yeah.
I'll still have like nightmares about that shit.
Yeah, I would too.
And I don't have them often, but that topic, that situation of them finding out about my fetish like pops up over and over again. Yeah, I don't remember anything about like why they were on there, why I didn't delete them. I don't know if I like got in trouble and they just took them or trying to get other photos. I don't remember the situation, but I just remembered that moment happening. And that was like seared in my brain, core memory made right there.
Yeah.
You know, I've been caught masturbating to it like 3 times in my life, twice by my dad, once by my mom. And that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
You know, I'll remember every one of those moments, you know. I remember my dad, he could tell it was porn related. I mean, shit, he was a grown man at that point. He was like in his early 30s. He probably knew, you know, at a glance what it was. But the way he phrased it to me was, you shouldn't be looking at stuff like that. You know, he never said like, don't watch porn or anything like that. He just said like, don't look at stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that first time he caught me, I was able to like stop and like zip up and look presentable, but everything was still on the computer.
Yeah.
You know, so like that was like not the worst situation that could have happened, but like the second time that was like a worse one. But he didn't really have view of the computer at that point. So that's like, yeah, that's really just a getting caught situation.
Yeah.
But then the second time, or the third and last time was like by my mom. And she's just one of those people that like knocks and opens the door, you know, to her.
Yeah.
She's like, I knocked,
Yeah.
you know? So she knocks and opens the door and I'm like putting my stuff away and I'm trying desperately to shut off my computer. Like she doesn't have a full view of the screen, but goddamn, I turn off that monitor and guess what? The audio is still definitely playing. The word belly button is being said a bunch of times. There's clearly women moaning. It is, it took me a good 5 seconds to like, from the moment she opened the door to actually turn down the audio. Like she heard.
Yeah.
She definitely heard.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That stuff stays with you forever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I had a friend or ex that like made me feel shame for it, you know, because there's a difference between them not being into it and them like actively shaming you.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think I ever experienced shame from it, though it's still something you feel. I think I've told all but one ex. No, all but 2. No, all but 3. Sorry, all but
You're
3.
Like, I told nobody.
No. I think Sydney was the first one that I told, that I actually told. Yeah, I didn't feel shame with her, which was good. That was like my first experience, not feeling shame about it. The other ones, I told them that I liked playing with them. I didn't explicitly say that I had a belly button fetish.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was something about them where I just did not feel comfortable enough, like revealing that stuff, because I was still at that age where, I don't know, was it something that I could get rid of? Was it something that I would fade away over time if I just didn't think about it? You know? I'm glad that I'm at where I'm at now, though. Mm-hmm. I don't mean this in a rude way, but even without you being here in the picture, I feel like I'm in a good place.
That's good.
Like being able to just kind of like own up to this fetish. And, you know, now I haven't been able to put that into major practice outside of people in the community, you know, and I'm going to include you in that bunch, you know, like, yes, I opened up to my VR friends, and that was probably the first time in a long time that I've just been like open about it. You know, I told a best friend before, and she was really cool about it, which was awesome. But I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I feel like it's taken me a long time to get to like where I am. And I don't, honestly, if I was still in my last relationship, I don't know if I would feel this way. Yeah. Because with my last relationship, it was like she let me play with hers in the beginning, and then that sort of faded away to her never letting me touch it. And then she would only touch mine, you know, with her allowing me to play with hers for a while and then taking that away and not saying a word about it. So it made me feel strange. It made me feel like, oh, I can't do that again. I can't talk about it again. She's not cool with it. Even though she's been playing with mine forever. And when I say playing, I mean just like licking it, you know, when she would like give me oral or something. But something felt different, or it kind of like faded into this feeling of, oh, I cannot open up to this person. I don't really think I dove into all the aspects of the fetish that I like and that I don't like. And she doesn't really, even to this day, you could ask her, she doesn't know that much about it.
Did you guys ever watch that type of porn together?
Never watch porn together. Any porn.
Oh.
Yeah. I think when I first opened up about my fetish, I pulled up fetish videos to show her, to help her understand. And it was crazy? Like even that night, we started to get into stuff and she wanted to see how I pulled my belly button out, and she like held it out and she like licked it and stuff. And it was like awesome. It was like a good forecast into like what our future could be like, or what my future could be like in terms of me like scratching this itch.
Yeah.
And that changed over time quickly. And I just didn't feel comfortable with her 100%. I felt like she would judge me, but I don't know, there's another part of my brain that's like, that's not true. But I don't know, you can't explain these feelings sometimes. But overcoming it, I don't know, I'm barely overcoming it right now. I don't even know if I have advice for overcoming it, other than I tell myself quite often, again, we talked about this last podcast, like I'm kind of throwing shade on other quote unquote weird fetishes out there when I say this, but it's like, there are other worse things to have as a fetish.
Yeah.
I don't mean to throw hate on like any other fetishes, but that's like,
I think what you're trying to say is that like, this isn't bad. Like there's nothing bad with it. Like there's nothing creepy. There's nothing wrong,
Now I feel like, we'll get into creepiness and stuff in like the next episode. Because there's definitely plenty of that in the community, but there are also a lot of great people who can have like a normal conversation with you, who aren't just like on you like a fucking cheetah, like 24/7, just like send me pictures. Do you like this? Do you like that? Yeah, it's crazy how many people think that works.
I wonder if some of that's just like a product of like them not having an outlet anywhere else. Like they have nobody else to talk to about it. So like me being open to talking about it. And a lot of my messages that I get, they open up with like, would you like to talk about belly button stuff? So I'm like asked.
I'm glad that you at least get those.
And then I get asked and then I say yes. And then they start talking about it. And it's like,
does it
dirty.
Like steer? Like, does it like?
It's just real dirty.
Like real fast.
Yeah, real dirty, real fast. Doesn't ease into it. There's nothing but dirtiness. It's just porn speak. But I think it's just, I wonder if it's just them not getting it from anywhere else. So it's just overloaded with me.
I mean, it's a sexual thing. Yeah, they don't have like they don't have a sexual release.
Yeah.
For this
so
fetish.
In this case, like them talking to me is like their sexual release, and they're just taking that out like in messages.
Yeah.
Because they probably don't have people in their lives to do that with, and if they did, it would be leveled out more. So I get it. I haven't been a part of any other fetish community, so I don't know how like the foot people talk to each other. I've always said for a long time I would sell pictures of my feet. If somebody offered, I'd sell pictures. If anybody wants pictures of my feet,
I think once OnlyFans got big, I think every woman considered selling pictures of their feet.
It's the easiest thing to do. I would also sell my underwear. If anybody wants to buy my underwear,
oh shit,
I'll wear underwear for you.
Damn.
And I'll send it to you in the mail. Let me know.
Well,
if that's okay with you over there.
We'll talk about it. It's your life though. Like I wouldn't stop you from doing it. I mean, if that was like your own side hustle, like do you?
Even if we were to be together?
Huh?
Even if we were to be together? Like that wouldn't bother you?
To me, it's like sending underwear to the Goodwill.
Yeah, I'm not having like a relationship with these people.
Exactly.
Okay. And I would share my winnings with you.
It's literally the same as donating your underwear.
Yeah. I would share my winnings with you.
Oh, wow.
I would.
Oh my gosh, you're going to take me out to dinner?
I would spend that money on you.
Oh, steak dinner. Here we go.
And lobster. Get my baby the big lobster.
The big plate.
This is my underwear money.
So this has been going on for a while. I don't know if
Oh my God, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours and 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, there we go. We filmed 2 podcasts in one almost.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Congratulations if you made it this far.
Yes. And thank you for listening.
You.
Again, to the person who asked the last question about shame, I don't know if I dived enough into overcoming it. I think
you're still working on it.
I'm still definitely working on it.
You shared insight on how you've overcome it thus far.
Yes.
And
for all of you who left voicemails that we didn't get to, we will be getting to those in the next episode and maybe the one after.
Mm-hmm.
But please continue to call in.
I really like it. I get excited when I hear we get new ones.
So if any of you want to call in the future and leave a voicemail that you want to have played on the podcast, you can call 773-893-0656. And you could probably hear your message played on a future episode. Feel free to hit us up on Instagram at outiebyte. We also have our accounts on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
So I am outiebyte on Reddit.
And Zoe Belly.
Zoe Belly. You can message us on there if you have any questions you want us to answer or prompts you want us to talk about. Because obviously there are multiple layers to this fetish, and we can dive pretty deep into any one of these. But yeah, thank you for listening. Did we dive into the auctioning off of the pieces?
No, we talked about the making of the pieces.
We talked about the making of them. We didn't talk about auctioning them off.
So we want to auction off the two
good replicas of your belly button that we made. One that is, I don't know, a good inch deep.
Yeah.
And then the other one that's probably a half inch deep.
Half inch, but still a good time. They're both fun.
Yes.
And we'll post pictures and video so you guys can see them. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will take bids on those. That'll probably exclusively happen on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not already following us there, give us a follow and message us and let us know if you're interested. And I think we're good.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.